Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Escape Art by Scott, and today will not be a video on how to paint. As you can see, there's no canvas up here. What I thought I would do is go over some of my paints that I use, my brushes, and so forth. So let's get right to it. I'm thinking that that's kind of an important thing to know. What kind of paints should you be using when you start to paint. This is a very basic little video here, and for you beginners, maybe some of you people that have been out there a little struggling with it, maybe this painting, this little video here will help you out. So what I would like to do now is to go over some of my paints that I use, and the name brand. Here is now I get my paint from a actual arts and crafts store. It's about an hour away from my home. It's called Hobby Lobby, and that's where I go and I get my paint from. So this is a alizarin crimson. This paint here, and this is the name brand is called Master Touch, and that's the kind of paint that I use. But you use whatever is available in your town, of course. If there's no Master Touch paint in your town, then don't buy it. Buy some other acrylic paint. Okay. Now I do both oil and acrylic, but for this purposes and for my videos that I do acrylic painting. So due to the fact that I'm inside this little building here, and oil has a lot of vapors to it, and for health reasons and all that kind of stuff, that I decided to do all my videos in acrylic, because a little safer for being inside this building here. But anyway, let's get on with it. So my first paint I showed you, the color was a crimson. I do my blues that I use is Prussian blue, phthalo blue, and some sky blue. There's many other colors of blues out there. Pick which one for best for you. Those are the three blues that I use. Prussian blue is the darker of the three, then the phthalo blue and the sky blue is the lighter color. So, but as you're buying your paint, look at it. And then all this right here, guys, is trial and error. If you're just starting out, just buy a few tubes of paint, work what's best for you, okay? So let's go right into the yellows. There's many yellows out there. All I did was I'll just pick yellow. I think one of my yellows is called permanent yellow, and there's another yellow out there, fluorescent yellow. There's all kind of yellows out there. Just pick a yellow. To me, yellow's yellow. I don't know, but they call different things. But as you go into the store again, just pick a color, pick your yellow out, and see if that's what you want. If not, not to buy it again next time, right? You're not going to get this right the first time. You got to give this a chance. So keep that in mind when you're buying your paint. Browns, I got some. Let's see, I got some burnt umber here, and this is what's in this body here. This tube here, some burnt umber, and some good old raw sienna. It's right here again. It's a Master Touch. The name brand that I use. And again, if you can't get that kind where you're at, don't get it. Just get some other kind. It'll be all right. Okay. Now, white. There's many whites out there. I use titanium white. I don't know what other colors of white are out there, but that's the color I use. It's called titanium white. And my greens, I use sap green. I use sap green, and I use phthalo green. Phthalo green has a little blue hue to it a little bit. I like using phthalo green in my ocean scenes. So again, it has a little bluish tint to it. And let's see here, my blues and my greens, and of course another yellow is called yellow ochre. It's a little darker yellow, and let me show that to you. Here's my yellow ochre. I have it right here. Can you get it right there? And that's my little yellow ochre. Now I do, some of my paints have something on the bottle called thick, what is that here? Thick body acrylic. Some of my paint don't. I guess a thick body acrylic, it takes a little bit longer for it to dry. It's still acrylic, still will dry, but it'll take a little longer than the other acrylic. Have I timed it? Have I put a clock to it? No, I have not. This is not, I don't get into too much science here, guys, about these paints. I don't get too, scientific into it. I keep it very simple, and the way I describe things. So hopefully this will, hopefully this is helping you out. So those are the basic colors that I use. So, but you get whatever. There's other colors out there. There's purples, and there's other browns out there. So just when you go into the town there and get what you need, get what's best for you. All right. I want to go over some of my palette knives here. I got a table. I got my camera right here, right? And of course you can't see it, okay? But there's a table I got here. I don't need to show you all that. You people know what a table looks like. If you don't need to be watching this video. You don't need to be painting. You don't need to be driving, or you don't need to be doing anything. All right, here's some palette knives that I get, that I use here. Here's another one right here. Here's another one. This one's a little bigger, and this one here. The smaller one, of course, will get in those little crevices, like I'm doing some mountains with the knife, and there's a little crevice up there I need to get into. I use a little smaller knife, of course. Smaller knives get into little smaller areas. Okay. Now that is that. Now I will get into some of my brushes that I use. Now, I seen this on when I was on Amazon. I was looking it up, and I got this here. Little thing folder here. It was full of different size of acrylic brushes, synthetic brushes. The synthetic made out of polyester or whatever you call it. It's not real hair brushes like the old brushes. Old brush, real hair. You got pig hair, horse hair, ear hair. It's real hair. And the acrylic brushes, they are not. They are synthetic. Now, the way I understand it is that if you use synthetic brushes with oil-based paint, the oil in that paint will ruin the brushes, the bristles on your acrylic brushes, on your synthetic brushes. Hope I'm not messing you up. Don't ask me to say it again because I can't. Okay, and then, but if you did it the other way around, use your synthetic brushes with your oil paint, it will ruin it. Your synthetic brushes. Now, if you use your acrylic paint with real hair brushes, the paint in the acrylic will ruin those brushes, the way I understand it. So, basically what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that synthetic brushes are with acrylic, real hair brushes are with oil paint. Okay, there. Woo! I got that all out. And now, I've gone over this before. Here's some brushes that I picked up, some synthetic brushes. And here's this brush here, about an inch and a half or so. This is a full 2 inches, I believe. And believe it or not, I got these two brushes. I was at a hardware store not so long ago. I was there for whatever reason. I came across these brushes, and I kind of like the way they look. They've got a little angle to it. So I went ahead and bought them. They were cheap. They were only, $5 or $6, whatever it was. And came home and started using them. I really liked them, and they really do the job. So just because you got your artist brushes out there, true artists, true people don't want to put all the scientific junk in this painting. They will say, "Oh, only buy your artist brushes from an art store. Not really, because this will do the job. Now, however, saying that, these brushes are, as you can tell, you got this brush here, which is I brought from the hardware store, and you got this brush here that is actually from that Hobby Lobby Arts and Crafts store. And here's these two brushes that I use here. I hope this is helping you out. And here's some fan brushes that I got here. That's the way they look. Those are called your fan brushes, because they fan out, alright? I guess that's why they're called fan brushes. And let me go over to my board here, my palette board, or palette, whatever you want to call it. Now this is a plastic type palette that I have here, and I got it wrapped around with some cling wrap I got. And of course I don't wrap the whole thing. I don't wrap the back of it. You're just going to waste it. Alright, just wrap it around here and keep it a little tight, and it'll do the job. One of the worst things I hate if you get into this painting is that when you get done with painting, you gotta clean all this up. But if you put this paper on here, when you get done with it, just fold it up, throw it in the garbage, okay? And that's, you know, a quick fix to your clean up thing. And of course I got several containers of water that I use to wash out my brushes with, and that takes a little bit of time, because you can't let that paint dry in the brush, not for just for a few minutes, and then gonna have to rinse it out. Don't let that stuff dry on your brushes, because it will ruin your brushes. Over time, you just gonna have to keep buying brushes and brushes. I've had my brushes for I don't know how many years, my old brushes. Now the acrylic, I'm just starting this year. I'm just painting this acrylic. These videos, this is the only time I started doing acrylics, so these brushes are still relatively new. But I got my old brushes that I have been painting for 13 years or so, and I've had them for years because I take care of them. You gotta take care of your stuff, so you don't have to keep wasting money, keep buying brushes, because it will get expensive. This hobby of mine, painting, is not a cheap hobby, or however you want to say it. It's kind of, you know, on the expensive side, but when you get done painting, you get done with the painting, I guarantee you're gonna step back, you're gonna look, and you say, wow, I can't believe I painted that. I don't know how many paintings I have done in those 13 years, and every time I get done, I just, wow, I did that, really? It's just insane. What's more insane is that when I go to these little shows, you know, people actually want to pay me for my painting, something that I've done. They're gonna pay me their money. That's the most amazing thing about this, that someone's actually willing to give me some money for something I can do. I didn't think that would ever happen in my life. But that's just a quick thing that I went over, my paints, my brushes, and everything else. I hope that helps you guys out and your little painting thing that you're trying to do. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Come back and see me. I'll be doing in a very short amount of time, maybe today, that I will be doing another video, actual painting, with those same stuff I showed you, same equipment, and I will be doing a seascape for you. This will be my first seascape that I've done for YouTube on this channel of mine. I have done a few seascapes. I'm still learning those seascapes. I can't get it really in my mind what they should look like. That's the way I paint. Again, when I paint, I don't look at anything. I'm not looking at any photos or pictures or anything. It's all of my paintings are my thoughts on canvas. Okay, so it's kind of hard to get in my mind how a seascape should look like. But I'm going to work on it for a little bit longer, get it right in my mind. Then I'm going to come back and paint it for you. So come back and see me. Again, I hope this little video here helps you guys out. Until next time, take care of yourselves.